Nah, I think I've done what I wanted to do. All right, so I had to go in and change y'all's homework because it was all screwed up, and I think I finally figured it out. I just had to delete a bunch of stuff that other teachers had put in, and it's fixed. So 1.1 and 1.2 homework is up, and it's due Monday. So make sure that you get that done.
Yes, sir.
And this is 1.3. 1.3, we're going to actually go into the difference quotient and apply the limit to the difference quotient. And you've already been doing that, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. So remember me showing you putting the limit theory with the algebra? You remember me showing you that? Well, that's what they're doing here. You don't have to copy this down. This says right here, we're going to apply the limit theory to the what? To the algebra. That's what that says. You don't have to copy it down because you already got it in your notes. There's turning the secant line into the what? The tangent line. You've already got that in your notes. This is showing you how to do it with just algebra. I want to find the slope of the line of the tangent line of x squared at 1, 2, and 3. And they do that. And then from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3. So you have to do each one by itself. And that's what they're showing you. Okay? What is this saying? This is saying by algebra, we have to do it this way. That's what that's saying. You don't have to write that down. All you got to write down is if we did it with algebra, you would have to do each one from 1 to 2 and then from 2 to 3. And that's what they're doing. And that's one of the reasons I didn't say anything during this, because you didn't really need to write any of this down. Okay? And what they're saying here is they're saying by algebra, we just did all of that by algebra, and it took us 2 or 3 pages. That's what that's saying. Average rate of change is the slope. So, if I wanted to find the average rate here, I would have to do each one. And that's what they're showing you. This is nothing but algebra. No limit. And if you apply the limit, then you're going to be doing calculus. So, does everybody get the gist of what they're trying to show you here? Okay.
Yes.
And there is your difference quotient. How do you get it? The difference quotient is another way of writing the what? No, starts with S though. The slope. Write that down if you didn't write it down last time. The difference quotient is another way to find the slope. Now, I can tell you right now, this chapter 1 test, if this has got difference quotient on it, you're going to have at least 30% of your test being difference quotient. So, let's do that one. Find the difference, do the difference quotient with x squared. Now, this is 2 parts. First, you got to do the difference quotient. Then you have to plug in x is equal to 5 and h is equal to 3. So go ahead and do that. So everybody should be writing on their notebook paper. Everybody should be writing. Because I don't think you can write on your laptop unless you got a stylus. You can do that. So.
Hey, are we going over the review test today too?
No, it's already over, isn't it? Isn't the review test over with? Yep.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do that Friday, but nobody said anything, so I went ahead. Goes back to communication. Somebody would have said something, I would have stopped and done the review test. What happened? Why did you do that? Oh, Mr. McCullough left. Let me call him back in. Last time got kicked out for some reason. And what happened to you, Mr. McCullough? Still not there.
All right.
What happened to you?
I had to change computers.
Okay. I asked you a while ago, well, are you sick or you just, you're welcome to come by the Anderson campus and sit in with us.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that.
Just can't take the penalty campus, huh?
Yeah, I can't take it.
Well, they're better now. They agreed to communicate.
Well, they ain't knocking the wall down, but hopefully they'll wait more than 5 slides to say something. Half of them are on their laptops and 2 or 3 are texting, so. I wonder why they can't do stuff. All right, so here we go. Difference quotient. I'll use the blue pen to do my parentheses squared minus f of x, which is x squared, over h. Plug in x plus h.
You should try to get to the left computer.
Say again?
Oh, never mind. What are we
Okay.
gonna do? She said drag, I don't know.
Drag the blue, like the top one. Put it to that computer.
So that's shortcut right here. Shortcut number 1, x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x squared over h. And of course the x squareds cancel. And you're left with h times 2x plus h divided by h. H is canceled. So your final answer with just algebra is 2x plus h. And they want to know what is your point at 5. Well, 2 times 5 is what?
10.
10 plus 3 is what?
13.
So at 5 you get 13. And at 3 you get 2 times 3, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, they just want to know one part. I'm sorry. I thought they were asking 2 points. My bad. Okay, so when you plug in 5, you get 13. Again, that's what you get with algebra. If you was to apply the limit theory, you would get rid of the h, and your equation of the tangent line would be 2x. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make that transition for you if you don't have a teacher to make it good enough for you. So that's what they're trying to do with the slides. Oh, they got a B too. So what's 5 times 10? 10.1. So you'll get 10.1 at 5, and 0.1 you get 10.1. So plug and chug. Oh, they're wanting you to do, well, I didn't know that's what they were wanting you to do. They're doing it that way, my bad. We actually did the formula, which you would get the same thing when you plug it in. I don't even do those. See, I told you 10.1 a while ago. I actually did the math with what we had in the previous problem. Okay, this is just algebra. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I am going to put the difference quotient, but we're going to apply the limit theory, which I'm trying to get to it. Okay, eventually. So here's x to the third. So let's do that one. X to the third. Now I really want you to do this one because this is going to test your algebra skills. So we're going to have x to the third, parentheses to the third power, minus x to the third over h. Okay, take a minute and do that one. Now it's going to test your algebra skills because you can't do x plus h to the third power. You're going to have to break that up into a quadratic along with a binomial, and you're going to have to use the distributive law, and you're going to get an LA equation, expression. So it's going to take you a couple of minutes to do x plus h to the third power. And it's going to test your algebra skills. No sneezing in class. So x squared plus 2xh plus h squared times x plus h minus x cubed over h. That's going to give you x cubed plus 2x squared h plus xh squared plus x squared h plus 2xh squared plus h to the third minus x cubed all over h. And that's going to take out the x cubes, and that's going to leave you with, we'll see if I can, there's 2x squared h, I think. That right there will work. So 2 plus 1 is 3 x squared h. And then you got a 3 xh squared plus h cubed over h. That's going to go out there. That's going to leave a 1. And that's going to leave a 2. So our final answer is 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared. Now, if you did that fluently, you're good. If you're still trying to figure out what I did down in the bottom left-hand corner, then you're in trouble. And you better start communicating. Next. There's the answer. 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared. And we're gonna bypass this because we're not ready for plug and chug. I don't want to do that yet. I want everybody to be able to do the derivative. All right, you try 3 over x. You try that one, 3 over x. Well, I don't know why they're showing you the answer. I don't want to show the answer. Whatever. Well, I tell you what, 3 over x, and we'll just go to the whiteboard since I want you to be able to do it without looking at the board. 3 over x, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
F of x is equal to 3 over x. Okay, so I'll give you a minute or two. Plug that through the difference quotient. I'm going to go ahead and write my blue marker. Go ahead and put that in there. So that's going to be parentheses 3 over parentheses and plus, that'd be minus 3 over x all over h. Then I'm going to plug in x plus 8. There you go. Again, this really tests your algebra skills because this is a complex rational expression. Next to fractions and word problems is pretty much the most hated thing to do in algebra. How you coming along, Jay?
Good. Goldenly.
Pendleton, how you coming along?
Good.
Good.
Doing
Mr.
good.
Miyagi?
I
3 over x plus h minus 3 over x over h over 1. I'm going to multiply by common denominator over 1 over common denominator over 1. X times x plus h over 1 over x times x plus h over 1. And that's going to give me 3 over x plus h minus 3 over x over h over 1. And then I'm going to put in a baby step here for those that need it. X times x plus h over 1. X times x plus h over 1. X times x plus h over 1. X plus h cancels. X cancels. That gives you 3x minus 3 times x plus h over h times x, or xh times x plus h. Three x minus 3x minus 3h over xh times x plus h. So what movie did you say was good? Or was y'all just making stuff up?
No, there was a movie that was supposed to be coming out, or already did.
Which
It's a scary
one?
movie. I want to say it's called The Turning. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I saw that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. It's gonna be a Fire Stick first, and then if it's worth watching on Fire Stick, I'll go to the movie theater and watch it.
Why would you pay
3H
to-
canceled?
Yeah.
What?
Why would you pay to watch it if you've already seen it?
To understand what was going on. Because on Fire Stick, you can't see very well because of the people walking in front of the theater and, the gambling commercials coming on. So if it sparks your interest with all that, then at the movie theater, it must be good.
True.
But I
You know
go
that's
on
the-
Monday and Tuesday when there ain't nobody at the theater because I don't want to tase or hit anybody, so I go on Monday. So that gives me negative 3h over xh times x plus h. And what happens to our h's? They cancel, and we're left with negative 3 over x squared plus xh. Again, if you can do that fluently, that doesn't count if you were sitting there staring at it until I started. If you were sitting there staring at it until I started it, that's not a good sign. But if you communicate with me, we can figure it out. Move on. Let's see what they got. Negative 3 over x squared plus xh. Is that what I got?
Yes.
It's a miracle.
That's crazy.
Soon, they're going to apply the limit theory, I hope. Because I'm getting tired of just doing algebra. Yeah, they're fixing to right now. Because here it is again. They're showing it to you again. You take the algebra, you combine it with the f of x and f of x. You take the slope. These two are the same. And hopefully they're going to talk about this. Must be the next section, which I've got it down here somewhere. Let me find it. Well, 1.4. Hey, we're going to be through with chapter 1 soon. Another test.
Yay.
Actually, you can't complain. This isn't very difficult. Unless you don't know your algebra, and then it pretty much sucks. Oh my, look at there. Bring it down to the tangent. And look at what's happening to the distance. What's happening to the distance? It's getting smaller and smaller. Aren't y'all glad I done explain this to you? Because if you look at just this stuff right here, this stuff will confuse you. That's why that graphic, that motion in graphics, that's why it helps you to see this. Because some of you just see this and it looks like Greek. See? And they're fixing to, there's the limit. Here we go. Here's where they put it together. This is your calculus. Taking the limit theory and applying it to algebra, and boom, you got calculus. Okay? I want you to write that down. You don't have to, do it. Just write it down. You don't have to skip steps where you need to, but you got, I think we did this for the first problem. I'm not sure. Somebody help me out. Did we do, yeah, we did x squared, didn't we? Okay. So go back to that slide and apply the limit theory. What happens when you plug in h is equal to 0, what happens? You're left with 2x, and 2x is the derivative of x squared. I'll show you a trick I learned in the war. X squared is equal to 1x squared, right? Because there's a 1 in front of that x. Everybody agree with me? Yep. So, a short little power rule of derivatives, what's leading up to, power rule of derivatives. You take that 2, you multiply it by that 1, and then take the exponent and subtract 1. So what is that going to leave us with? Oh my, look at there. Instead of doing all that algebra and all that limit theory, all you have to do is take the exponent, multiply it by the coefficient, and subtract 1 from the exponent. And that is your basic power rule of derivatives. I just taught y'all this whole section, 1.4, in one slide. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, what would the derivative f of x is equal to x to the third? F prime of x, which is the symbol for derivative, would equal 3 times 1 x to the 3 minus 1, which is equal to 3x what? So the derivative of x cubed is 3x squared. Now, if you've ever sucked at calculus, you better be paying attention right now. The previous section on difference quotient, we're fixing to apply the limit theory to the difference quotient, and that's going to give you the derivative. You can check it by going, using the power rule, and saying 3 times 1 is 3x squared. And it's a whole lot quicker to do the power rule of derivatives. Now, notice this notation. That's called the derivative. You can write the derivative several different ways. The derivative can be written dy dx. That's kind of like old school, but it kind of helps you out when you get into differential equations because you write everything in that form. So the only thing is you just kind of evolves into that when you get to differential equations, and you can impress your friends at any local bar. Okay? That's one way to write the derivative. Another way to write the derivative, f prime of x. That's another way. That's the way a lot of teachers use it, and some say y prime. So that's one way to write it. That's the second way to write it. And the third way to write it. And remember, what is the derivative? The derivative is the same thing that the quotient rule, the difference quotient gives you with the limit theory. It gives you the equation, and write this down because you'll always forget it. The equation of the tangent line at any point on a what? Curve. The difference quotient with the limit theory, or the first derivative power rule will give you the equation of the tangent line at any point on a curve. Questions so far? There's x cubed. We did x cubed, did we not? I think we did. Yeah, I did x cubed because you have to do all that algebra. And we came out with 2x plus h or 3x squared plus h. I can't remember. Somebody tell me what we came out with. Well, they're going to show us here. I'm sorry. There. Okay, 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared. Now, let's take our handy-dandy blue marker and let's do the power rule. 3x squared. Well, that says 3x squared. Yeah, but what happens when you plug in h is equal to 0? And the derivative is 3x squared. You would be surprised on how many students take pre-calculus and calculus, and they go through pre-calculus and calculus, and if I ask them on a test, what is the relationship between the difference quotient and the first derivative, half the students wouldn't even know it. They're the same thing. Questions? I mean, Pendleton. I'm going to ask Pendleton, then Easley, and then Anderson. Pendleton, have y'all been through a pre-calculus or a calculus class and you never made that connection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easley?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Anderson?
I've never been in a pre-cal class.
Okay. How about you? You've been in a pre-cal? Did you make that connection? You'd be surprised on how many people don't make that connection. The derivative and the difference quotient with the limit theory is the same thing. And what are they? The slope. That's all you're finding.
Feel left out.
Say again?
Feel left out.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mr. Miyagi?
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Are you hurt? I mean, do you feel hurt?
Yeah, my little Asian heart's hurt.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, if your pre-calc, you said you took pre-cal, didn't you, or calc?
I had calc last semester.
Okay, did you make that connection?
Heck no.
Did you have it here?
No, I have it at Seneca.
At Seneca. Okay.
Yup. Home with the Bobcats.
I'll never forget, that's one of the toughest places I played because that field, I don't know if it's still the same field, but when you play in the wintertime at Seneca, it's like the frozen tundra.
Oh, we're god
that
awful
field,
now,
I don't know if it's still the same field, but that field, you could actually see the crown on that field. It was like this. And buddy, it was hard as a rock in the middle of the wintertime. I mean, whenever we played on it, it was hard as a rock. I don't know if it's still the same field or not. But
Well,
anyway,
we're a piece of cake now. Walhalla took all our players because of their coach taking them to Disney World and everything. We lost like half
bless
our
your
team.
heart. All right. All right, here's one. How about f of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared? We're going to go to the whiteboard on this one. F of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared. So take my handy dandy whiteboard and I'm going to go x cubed plus x squared. And we're going here. And I want you to do the difference quotient with x cubed. You better write small. And you better do it on a full page, on a clean page. F of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared. And I'm even going to move this up to the top of my, right in there. So I'm going to rewrite this guy. And I'm going to put parentheses cubed plus parentheses squared minus x cubed plus x squared over h. And I'm going to go ahead and add my limit theory. Limit as h approaches 0. So I plug in my x plus h. That's going to give us x squared plus 2xh plus h squared times 8x plus h plus x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x cubed minus x squared all over h. X cubed plus 2x squared h plus xh squared plus x squared h plus 2xh squared plus h cubed plus x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x cubed minus x squared. All over h. Now, what happens to the x cubes? X cubes cancel. What happens, let's see, x squareds cancel. Let's do some combining before we move on. 2x squared h, x squared h. I don't see another x squared h. I think I'm good. So that's 3x squared h. Got a 1xh squared, 2xh squared. So that's going to be 3xh squared plus 2xh plus h cubed plus h squared. Y'all check me. Over h. So that's going to knock that out. That's going to knock that out to a 1. That's going to knock that out. That's going to knock that out to a 2 and that to an h. So I'm going to get 3x squared plus 3xh plus 2x plus h squared plus h. Now what happens when I apply h is equal to 0? That's going to go out. That's going to go out. That's going to go out. So I get my derivative is 3x squared plus 2x. Now let's go check with our calculus. Power rule. 3 times x. What's 3 minus 1? 3 minus 1 is 2. Plus 2x. 2 minus 1 is 1. It's a miracle.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have to do all the algebra?
On the ones that says use difference quotient, yes.
Okay.
That's the whole point. The whole point is for you to understand and to really embrace the power rule of derivatives. And the more you do problems like this, the more you'll appreciate the calculus. Calculus is not hard. People suck at algebra. That's why I spent so much time making y'all go over the review section. And either y'all did very well and I taught very well, or y'all cheated, one of the two, because the tests are looking pretty good. Which, you should be okay. I mean, you're in a calculus class. That means, you know, you should have had some algebra and you should be pretty good at it. Now, are you going to be as fluent with this one as the ones we just did, as the one before that? No, because this one on a scale from 1 to 10 is about a 3 or a 4. So some of you, you're going to have to take it a little bit slower. Now, if you're saying, what the hell did he do? Then you're in trouble. Yes, sir.
Can you explain the very bottom part where you cross out 3xh, h squared, and h?
Yes, I forgot to add the limit. I'm sorry, because some teachers would have a fit. I forgot to bring this down. That's what Dr. Harden would say. You know how to do that. H is approaching what? What is H approaching?
Zero.
Zero. So what does that do to the H terms? What happens when you plug in 0 for a variable? What happens?
Cancels it out.
It cancels out. So that's why if you plug in 0 for H, what is that 3x? It doesn't matter. It's going to cancel that 3x out. What happens here? 0 squared, 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. So the H terms will always do what? Yes, right here you need to make a note. Using the limit theory with the algebra, H will always what?
Cancel.
Will always cancel.
Now that's only if h approaches 0, right?
Exactly. As H approaches infinity, it's a different story. Now, in the engineering calculus, we spend a lot of sections on this. And I didn't see it a lot in this one. But if, limit as x approaches infinity of 1 over x. Okay, what happens with that limit? What does it approach? It approaches 0. Why? Can somebody tell me? Well, somebody give me a number for x.
5.
Okay,
29.
give me the next number. 6. What happens to 1/5 and 1/6? What's happening from 1/5 to 1/6? What's happening?
Oh, it's getting smaller.
1/7, 1/8, 1/9, 1/10, 1/11. What's happening? Is it getting smaller or is it getting bigger?
It's getting small.
So it's going to get smaller until it converges onto what?
0.
0. So thanks for bringing that up, whoever brought it up, because that's the other type of limit. And you might see some in your homework. If you do, send it to me and I'll go over it. Okay? Remember what I said about texting in class? Why do y'all want to do that? Just pisses me off. Why do you want to do that? Get up, go outside. I mean, why? Why do I have to tell y'all not to do that? Is it a medical condition or what? Pisses me off. Boy, I ain't kidding you. Y'all are working hard. Y'all finally broke with some communication, and then you start texting in class. Next time, get up and go outside. If you can't do it, then I'll just embarrass you. Third time, I'll just ask security to get you out of the classroom. I don't understand why people do that. I don't do it. I haven't picked up my phone the whole time I've been talking to y'all. Maybe y'all need medication. I don't know. And that's what they're doing here. So let me move on. I'm not doing that yet. I'll do that after we get the derivative down. Did we just do that one, or have we done that one?
I think we've done that.
We haven't done that one? So what if I don't want to do the algebra? If I don't want to do the algebra, then this is what I do. One rule about calculus is rewrite. It's one of the first rules of calculus. The second rule of calculus, radicals and calculus do not what? Do not mix. If you were in my 109, you remember me saying that, and you also remember me saying, from now on, you change radicals into what? Rational exponents. So I'm going to rewrite this guy as 3x to the negative 1. Now I'm going to apply my power rule. Negative 1 times 3, x to the negative 1 minus 1. Negative 3, x to the negative 2, or negative 3 over x squared. Now that's calculus. If I was to do the other, 3 over x plus h minus 3 over x over h over 1. I remember doing one like this. Did we do a rational exponent? I mean a rational, complex rational?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, that's
I think we've
exact
already
one.
done this.
Okay. Well, look at the answer on that page. What did we get for the answer?
Negative
3
over x squared plus xh.
Okay, yeah, but then the xh cancels out. So let's see what, well, they're doing that. I'm not worried about that right now. There it is. There it is. Negative 3 over x squared. So I'm going to go back. There's my 3 over x squared, negative 3 over x squared, using the power rule. And I did it what? 2 lines. And there's, you did it with several applications of algebra. Okay, let's get to another problem. Let's go. That's negative 2 over x. I want to get to another one that we haven't done. We've already done, we did 3 over x, so I want to do another one. Go ahead and make a note of these. This is for a standardized test. Wait a minute. A function is not differentiable, that's what it's called, at point A where there is a what? A corner. Why? Because there's a corner, at a corner there's no slope. Slope is undefined. That's why. So you're not going to have, so just write those 3 examples down and just put an X through them. No derivative at those corners. That's a standardized test question. They'll put one of these and they'll say, does the derivative exist? And you would say what? No, no, no. Okay? A function is not differentiable at a point if there is a vertical tangent, because the slope of a vertical line is what? Undefined. A function is not differentiable if it is not what? Continuous. I could give you the derivative of this line. I could give you the derivative of this line. But I can't give you the derivative of this as a function because it's not a function. It's kind of like getting money out of a rock. You can't do it. Blood out of a turnip. Why is this not differentiable? Because you can't do anything inside the absolute value marks. And what is the parent graph of an absolute value?
V.
V. And V has a what?
Corner.
Has a corner. And plus, you have to set this equal to both the positive and the negative. And that's why it's got a corner there. Corner. The standardized test question. Tangent line is the derivative of the limit with the difference quotient. They're just showing you all this stuff. It's all wordy. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the whiteboard. Go back to the whiteboard. And I want to pull up, if I can find the whiteboard. Okay, the whiteboard just, there it is. All right, so let's do f of x is equal to x cubed f of x is equal to x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. All right, work on that one. I don't know what time it is, but y'all not convulsing yet, so I guess we've still got a minute or two left before y'all start convulsing. Now, I want you to get your calculators out also. And you can go ahead and graph that line if you want to. I'll go ahead and be writing it and put it in the difference quotient. Parentheses, x plus h, quantity cubed, plus 2 times x plus h, quantity squared, plus 3 times x plus h, minus 1, minus brackets, x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 over h. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared times x plus h plus 2 times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 3x plus 3h minus 1 minus x cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 all over h. All right, get to work. That means it's time for Hubert to shut up.
It's currently 10:50 a.m. with a current temperature of 48 degrees.
48 degrees.
55 degrees Fahrenheit.
Low is 37.
Looks like it'll be a sunny. And now, here are today's top headlines provided by. Here are the questions 2020 Dems asked during Trump impeachment trial.
Dumbasses. I ain't glad. So, let's go ahead and get that first monkey wrench done. That's going to be x cubed plus 2x squared h plus ax h squared plus hx squared plus 2xh squared plus h cubed plus 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared plus 3x plus 3h minus 1 minus x cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. All that over h. Take your red pen out, and let's start with x cubed. Am I looking at the h, or am I looking at the x's? The x's are supposed to cancel. So let's see if there's an x cubed anywhere. There's a negative x cubed, and we feel good about ourselves. Let's go ahead and find, there's an x squared. 2x squared cancels. How about the 3x? Does it cancel? Yep. How about the 1? Does it cancel? Yep. And we feel good about ourselves. How about the 4? I see a 4. No, that's the xh. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and group let's take our handy dandy blue marker, and let's find all our x squared h's. X squared h's. There's an x squared h. That's a 1x squared h. Any other x squared h's? I don't see any more. So 3x squared h. Okay, now let's find, I'll change since I care about y'all, I'll do magenta. 1xh squared and 2xh squared is 3xh squared. You see, this stuff isn't rocket science. It's just if you can do organized, methodical work, you should be okay. Kind of like making change. Okay, h to the third. What else? That's h to the third. It goes out. Let's see if there's a 4xh. Is there an xh anywhere? I don't see one. 4xh. 4xh. And then what's left? 2h squared and 3h. Let's go with 2h squared plus 2h squared plus 3h. And I'll just do it in black. You should not have anything repeating over h. And that's going to cancel that out. It's going to cancel that out to a 1. It's going to cancel that out to a 2. It's going to cancel that out. It's going to cancel that out to an h. And it's going to cancel that out. So that leaves me with limit as h approaches 0. Let's go ahead and knock out our h's. Well, that's going to be knocked out. That's going to be knocked out. That's going to be knocked out. And that's going to be knocked out. So as we do the limit and knock those out, we're left with 3x squared plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. Okay. So let's go back up here. I should be a 4x somewhere. I think
The 4xh doesn't cancel out because there's 1h.
What?
The 4xh does not cancel out because there's just 1h.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, plus 4x. Thank you. That doesn't cancel, so let's rewrite that. This doesn't cancel. That's 4x. Okay. So 3x squared plus 4x plus 3. A lot of people say, well, how do you do that one, Hubert? Well, this is 3x to the 1. 1 times 3 is what? 3. What's 1 minus 1? 0. What's x to the 0? 3 times 1 is 3. So that is your answer. Now again, if you did that problem and you did it semi-fluent to fluent, you're okay. If you're trying to figure out what I did from step 2 to step 3, then you need to start sending me questions and we need to start doing them in class. It's called communication. Okay, so y'all go ahead and do your convulsions before y'all, start doing the funky chicken.